Angles to the right side, taken at the 12 by McCluster, gets one block, now a two. He comes to the near side at the 20, burst across the 25, cuts it back right across the 35, center of the field and midfield. One man is chasing him, McCluster up the right hash, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Kansas City.
That was an 89-yard punt return for a touchdown by Dexter McCluster the last time the Giants came to town, way back in 2013. Now 8 years later, hoping for some more big plays when the G-Men come to town on Monday Night Football. Hey everybody, and welcome into our game preview this week presented by Crown Royal. My name is Matt McMullen, and this week we're joined by Louis Riddick, one of the very best in the business, and he's actually on the Monday Night Football crew as well, so he's perfect for this segment. Louis, what's up, man?
Can't complain, man. Everything's good here in Kansas City, and got a couple days to kind of get ready for this game, man. I can't wait to get to practice. I just can't wait for all of it, just to kind of take it all in down here. And it's going to be a cool atmosphere Monday night. You can bet that.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it and really appreciate your time here. And Louis, the Chiefs are looking to bounce back here in this game. I mean, it was a tough one against the Tennessee Titans last week. They struggle in all three phases. And particularly offensively, it was just surprising because they only muster 3 points. This is one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, and it just wasn't their day. So they're looking to bounce back here on Monday Night Football, and they're trying to do it against the Giants defense that's allowing 26 points per game this season, but they're coming off perhaps their best defensive performance of the year against Carolina last week. They hold Carolina to just 3 points in that game, 2 of 15 on third down, and also rack up 6 sacks. So really, perhaps their best defensive performance in a very long time. What do you make of this matchup between the Chiefs offense and the Giants defense on Monday?
Yeah, what's interesting about that is, just kind of dovetailing right off of what you just laid out, is that we don't really know which team we're going to get, whether, from Kansas City or from the Giants right now. And that's kind of the troubling part, I think, internally for both organizations. You don't know if Kansas City is going to come out and the offensive line will establish themselves in the run game from a physicality standpoint and then be better in pass protection, because we know that's how it works. Offensive linemen like to come out and get physical first and then start to retreat second. And by retreat, I mean play, pass protect. And then everything kind of slows down for them. So we'll see if Andy actually calls the game that way, if Eric actually calls the game that way, that being Eric Bieniemy, and the offensive line responds, especially the tackles, especially Orlando and Remmers. Do they respond? And then, even on the inside, with guys like Joe and Trey, I mean, look, the Giants have some tough son of a guns now at defensive tackle. I mean, they've got some big physical guys that can really get after it and push the pocket. So are the Giants going to play like that? Is the Chiefs offensive line going to play better? Is Patrick going to be more patient and better with his decision-making, step up in the pocket when it's secure? Or is he going to take chances because he gets tired of seeing that too high shell and going, look, at some point I got to bomb somebody? Which one is it going to be? And then for the Giants, look, we know that this football team will give up big plays in the blink of an eye. Or, Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, maybe he gets the message across to them that, look, just let them have 10, 15-yard gains. That's fine. Keep it underneath. Don't let Tyreek get over top of you. Your guess is as good as mine as to what mentality the players themselves come into this game with. That's what makes it intriguing. That's why it's must-see TV. Because for us as a broadcasting crew, I really don't know. And that's why this game, like I said, is very intriguing.
Yeah, well, the thing with the Chiefs offense, too, is that despite just scoring 3 points last week, they still lead the NFL in first downs, 10-play drives, and third down conversion rate, and they're in the top 5 in numerous offensive categories. The problem all year has been turnovers. I mean, they're turning the ball over on 25% of possessions this year, and that makes it hard to win football games. So we know they can move the football, but hoping they don't turn the ball over here in this one and can kind of stop that trend here on Monday Night Football. Now, I want to ask you about the Giants offense, too, and for them it really begins with Daniel Jones, third-year starter out of Duke. And what's impressive about him is how he can leverage his athletic ability. I mean, he can run with the football. He has 3 games this year where he has 8 or more rushes, keeps the defense off balance with what he can do with his legs. How can the Chiefs slow down Daniel Jones on Monday?
Yeah, I think, again, it starts up front. Look, the Chiefs' defensive line needs to make sure that when you're watching the line of scrimmage, that they are putting offensive linemen into Daniel Jones's lap. So from there, everything else starts to crater. They can't lose the battle of the line of scrimmage. And quite honestly, for the majority of the year, they have done that. Now, I know last week against Derek, they had some very good snaps where, Nick Bolton in particular was playing with a very much so a downhill mentality and getting him, stopping him behind the line of scrimmage, hitting him at the line of scrimmage before he got started. So that's kind of the number one thing they need to do, even if it's Daniel Jones handing the ball off to someone, or it's Daniel Jones' design quarterback run, or it's him dropping back to pass. It's winning the line of scrimmage first. 3/5 of the Giants' offensive line that they started with in week 1 are gone. And now they have basically they have a revolving door at offensive tackle with, Nate Solder going from left to right to left because Andrew Thomas is out. They don't really know where to put him to hide him, the most. And now Matt Pert playing left tackle. And then they have, totally different people. Billy Price at center, who wasn't the starter in the beginning of the year. Matt Skura, who's here, who wasn't here at the beginning of the year. So there's just so many different things going on for them. Kansas City has to make sure that they take care of that area of the game first and foremost. In the secondary, although Daniel Jones is struggling with the deep ball this year, and he's one of the best deep ball throws in the NFL last year, they need to make sure that they get the call out of the huddle quick, get lined up quick, and there are no communication errors where next thing you know, someone is behind the third level of the defense and the crowd sitting there going, what the hell's going on? And a ball's getting thrown over their head. You guys have seen it too much. You saw it in particular in the Buffalo game. And then you see it a lot happening down in the red area like you saw against the LA Chargers. Communication, and I think they'll be fine. But if you wind up beating yourself because you're not on the same page first and foremost, it doesn't matter how many players the Giants are without in this game because they still have enough juice to embarrass you and win this football game as they showed last week to the Carolina Panthers, who many people thought was going to be a playoff team after the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that New York's missing a lot of players, also missing a lot of offensive skill position players, guys like Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay. We don't know if a lot of these guys are going to play on Monday, still waiting. They could be game time decisions, still waiting on word on some of those guys. But my last question for you, I want to ask for guys that we feel pretty good about that they will play in this game. Is there a specific matchup between a Giants offensive player and the Chiefs defense that you're watching in this one that could dictate the outcome?
Yeah, I think look, I'm always one of those people who believes that you have to defend the middle of the field first. You defend it inside out because the quickest way for you to gain yards is straight ahead. The easiest throws for quarterbacks are right over the line of scrimmage in between the numbers instead of throwing outside. So now the tight ends come into play. So if Evan Ingram is going to play, if Sterling Shepard's going to play, that's where they live, that's where they work. So that puts guys like Bolton and Willie Gay in the spotlight. That puts L'Jarius Sneed in the spotlight since he's more than likely going to line up on the inside, playing in the slot and sub most of the time. And the safeties, Tyron's going to be in the spotlight. Juan's going to be in the spotlight. So they're inside players versus the Chiefs' inside interior defenders. All those matchups are what's intriguing to me. Without Golladay, Darius Slayton's probably going to play, but without Golladay, you really miss your outside lane winner down the field. So I think this game will be decided between the numbers, just like every game is, but in particular this one. If you see big plays happening there against Kansas City, hold on to your rear ends, man. It could be a long night.
Well, if you're looking for positives from the Chiefs' defense last week, I know it wasn't their best performance, but 15 tackles from Nick Bolton and 4 tackles for loss. He was certainly pretty strong. And also Willie Gay Jr. had an interception in that game, so hopefully they can carry that momentum here into Monday Night Football and get this defense back on track. Louis, awesome stuff, man. Really appreciate your time.
You bet. Anytime.